next agro-based industry is sugarcane industry or sugar factories. So, sugarcane is native of tropical Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. In India, sugarcane is planted thrice a year in October, March, and July, depending on parts of the country. Most of the sugar production in India takes at local cooperative sugar mills. Sugar industry is a big business in India. Around 525 mills produce more than 30 million tons of sugar. India stands second as a world producer of sugar but occupies the first place in the production of gur and khandsari, that is khadi sakhar. The raw material used in this industry is bulky, and in haulage, that is in commercial transport, is sucrose content reduces. So as the juice of the harvested sugarcane dries up within 16 hours of its harvesting, sugarcane has to be delivered quickly to the mills. So sugar mills are located near sugarcane fields. Sugar industry is seasonal in nature and so is ideally suited to the cooperative sector. For entire year, farmers are engaged in producing sugarcane as it is an annual crop. Sugar mills are located in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, so I'm talking about the northern plain, MP, alright. Then I'm coming to our plateau part, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, that is Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. 60% mills are in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Now, let us understand the products and byproducts which are produced from the sugarcane when it is crushed in a sugar factory. The processing of sugarcane generates bagasse, molasses, and cane tops. Indian sugar industry has been using these byproducts to generate bioethanol, electricity, and many other products over the years. Let's see about these products in detail on the next slide. Sugarcane tops are used for fuel production and animal feed. You can now view the sugarcane tops in the image which is provided in this PPT. The next image is molasses. It is a thick dark brown juice obtained from raw sugar during the refining process. Sugarcane molasses is primarily used for sweetening and flavoring foods. Let's move on to the next slide. Next byproduct is bagasse. It's the dry pulp, fibrous residue that remains after sugarcane stalks are crushed to extract their juice. It is used as a biofuel for the production of heat, energy, and electricity, and in the manufacture of pulp and building materials. You can see which products are prepared from bagasse. It's a tissue paper which you can see, and also those party products, that is cups and saucers and plates and tissues and spoons and fork which you use when you have any party at home. Okay, so these are the products which are prepared and they're easily available in the market and they are quite cheap and they are environment friendly. On the next two slides, just for your information and for understanding of information about the byproducts has been added. Just go through those slides. Recent years, there is a tendency for the mills to shift and concentrate in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. This is because the cane production or sugarcane production here has a higher sucrose content. The cooler climate also ensures longer crushing seasons. Moreover, the cooperatives are more successful in these states. Now let us see and understand what are the major challenges that this industry faces. It includes the seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport delay in reaching sugarcane to factories, and the need to maximize the use of bagasse. Let us move on to the next set of classification, and that is mineral based industries. Under mineral based industries, we are going to discuss seven types of mineral based industries, that is iron and steel industry, aluminium smelting, chemical industries, fertilizer industry, cement industry, automobile industry, information technology and electronic industry will also be classified under this head, as we are going to talk about the production units and not the service oriented one. Okay, so information technology and electronic industry. Now let us move on to the first type of industry under this head, and that is iron and steel industry on the next slide. Industries that use mineral and metals as raw materials are called as mineral based industries. Iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industry is the basic industry, since all other industries, that is heavy, medium and light, depend on it for their machinery. Steel is needed to manufacture variety of engineering goods, construction material, it is required on the construction material too, defense equipments, for medical equipments, telephonic equipments, scientific equipments, and a variety of consumer goods. Production and consumption of steel is often regarded as index of country's development. Iron and steel is a heavy industry because all the raw materials as well as the finished goods are heavy and bulky, entailing heavy transportation cost. Iron ore, coking coal and limestone are required in the ratio of approximately 4:2:1. Some quantities of manganese is also required to harden the steel. What is coking coal, also known as metallurgical coal, is used to create coke, one of the key irrepressible inputs for the production of steel. Coking coal is the coal which will form a solid residue on heating to a very high temperature around 1100 degrees Celsius in the absence of oxygen or very less amount of oxygen. This solid residue formed is coke, hard but porous solid form of carbon. For steel industry, the iron ore must be reduced with almost pure carbon. Coke is nothing but a hard porous mass of carbon formed by heating the coking coal in the absence of oxygen to a very high temperature. In 2016, with 95.6 million tons of crude steel production, India ranked third among the world crude steel producers. It is the largest producer of sponge iron. Sponge iron is a metallic product produced through the direct reduction of iron in the strong state. It is a substitute for scrap and therefore is mostly applicable in making steel through the secondary route. The procedure of sponge iron making aims to expel the oxygen from iron ore. In secondary steel making route, as it is mentioned, steel is produced from recycled steel scrap that is molded by using high power electric furnace, and steel scrap is used as a supplement for sponge iron. So if sponge iron is not there, then steel scrap is used, and vice versa. Why is it called as sponge iron? Sponge iron is also known as direct reduction iron. It is produced by direct reduction of iron ore in solid state, either by natural gas or coal at 1000 or 1050 degrees Celsius. Resulting iron is highly porous in nature and hence the name is given as sponge iron. In 2016, per capita consumption of steel in the country was only around 63 kg per annum against the world's average of 208 kg. Now, students, in detail information about the sponge iron is given only for your understanding, because if I only use the word sponge iron or coking coal and if I do not give any explanation, it becomes very difficult to understand or visualize that particular thing. That's the reason in most of the slides explicit explanation about various things are given. So if question related to sponge iron is asked in the exam, it will be only for 1 mark that will be asked, not a 3 mark or 5 mark question can be asked about why is it called sponge iron, or sponge iron, is it a metallic product, how is it formed. No, not so. Such sort of questions will not appear. It will only appear in 1 mark question, in the form of a 1 mark question. Please understand this. Understand about mini steel plants. What are mini steel plants? They are of small or medium size and have less production capacity as compared with the big steel plants. These mini steel plants are smaller and have electric furnace. They use steel scrap and sponge iron. They have re-rollers that use steel ingots as well, and they produce mild and alloy steel of given specification. I've mentioned all the information over here, and the images also have been provided in order to understand. An integrated steel plant is large and handles everything in one complex, from putting together raw material to steel making, rolling it, and shaping the steel. Understand the process of manufacturing of steel. First of all, transport of raw material to plants, then in blast furnace, iron ore is melted, limestone, which is a fluxing material, is added. So, fluxing material basically is a chemical cleansing agent, a purifying agent, which is added, and then slag is removed, coke is burned to heat the ore. Then, molten material is poured into molds called pigs, and that is called as pig iron. Pig iron is further purified by melting and oxidizing the impurities, and manganese, nickel, chromium are added. Then metal is formed and it is rolled, then pressing takes place, casting, and then forging. Now all these words, pig iron, forging, casting, rolling, pressing, images of it are included, added on the next slide. Just go through it so that you will remember the process in an appropriate manner. This process can be asked for 1 mark in the exam. That is, few of the boxes of processes may be kept empty and you will have to fill the information in it. Okay. Most of the public sector undertaking markets their steel through Steel Authority of India Limited (SAIL). Today, China is the largest producer of steel. China is also the world's largest consumer of steel. Chota Nagpur Plateau region has the maximum concentration of iron and steel industries. It is largely because of the relative advantage this region has for the development of this industry. That is, cheap labor, high grade raw material in proximity, vast growth potential in the home market, and low cost of iron ore. Though India is an important iron and steel producing country in the world, yet we are not able to perform to our full potential. It is largely due to high cost and limited availability of coking coal, lower productivity of labor, irregular supply of energy, poor infrastructure. Lower productivity of labor can be because wages are less. It is absolutely linked to it. Secondly, that incentives and training should be provided. Then, third point is irregular supply of energy. Steel sector is currently highly reliant on coal, which supplies 75% of energy's demand. So we need to find out a way that we should not only totally be dependent upon coal. So right now we are mostly dependent upon supply of coal. Production of steel is sufficient to meet our domestic demand. There is a need to allocate resources for research and development to produce steel more competitively. Liberalization and foreign direct investment have given a boost to the industry with the efforts of private entrepreneurs. As these private entrepreneurs are trying to increase the economy of our country by taking part in the iron and steel industry. They are also manufacturing iron and steel industry. So it is a public limited company when private entrepreneurs enter into this industry. We also import good quality steel from other countries. In financial year in 2019, India imported steel from the Republic of South Korea, followed by China and Japan. Both Korea and Japan are tied by FTA with India. So this is a point which is not there in the textbook. It has been incorporated. It's an example which has been given. So you need to provide example when you are explaining any part. As I've done over here, you also need to provide example when you are writing down your answers. move on to the next type of industry, that is aluminium smelting. Smelting is a process of applying heat to ore in order to extract a base metal. It is a form of extractive metallurgy. It is used to extract many metals from their ores, including silver, iron, copper, and other base metals. Aluminium smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, and a good conductor of heat, malleable, and becomes strong when it is mixed with other metals. Aluminium smelting plants in the countries are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Which are the places? Odisha on the eastern side, West Bengal on the eastern side, Kerala on the southern side, then Tamil Nadu on the southern side, Maharashtra on the southern side, then we go to the north, and then it is Uttar Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Bauxite, the raw material which is used in the smelters, is very bulky. It is dark reddish in color. Now, the regular supply of electricity and an assured source of raw material at minimum cost are the prime factors for the location of aluminium smelting industry. Where is it used? It is used to manufacture aircraft, utensils, and wires. Now let us move on to the next slide in order to understand the process of manufacturing in aluminium industry, which is mentioned in our textbook. Understand process of manufacturing in aluminium industry as mentioned in our textbook. Bauxite, the raw material, is taken from the bauxite quarry. That's the first figure. It is transported via rail or ship. Then bauxite is crushed and alumina is dissolved. Bulk ore is shipped to the site of the smelter. Second, calcinated petroleum coke is removed from the refinery. It is used to make anodes for the aluminium, steel, and titanium smelting industry. Third one is pitch from the colliery. This is the black colored solution obtained after distillation of the ore from the aluminium refinery. Then a molten metal, cryolite, is added as an electrolyte to it. It's a white or a colorless mineral consisting of a fluoride of sodium and aluminium, and it is added to bauxite as a flux in the aluminium smelting process. Now, if question based on this is asked, it will be only related pertaining to this image, that is process of manufacturing aluminium industry. Extra information definitely will not be asked upon it. How is it produced? But if you are interested in how is it produced, what is the procedure, there is a small video which is attached in the end of this particular part on the last slide. So it's just for your understanding. It is not there in any of the exam. Only this process of manufacturing in aluminium industry, this figure 6.8, can be asked for 1 mark, as I have told you for the steel. So it is also for aluminium industry. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now, on the next two slides, we have map work. So, two maps have been incorporated in manufacturing industries part 1. Those maps are textile industry map and iron and steel plant map. Alright, so remember that it is a subject enrichment activity. So, you have to maintain a hard copy of all these maps. Alright, so now when you are going to mark for textile industry, so mark woolen and silk on one map with different symbols. Alright, and cotton textile on a different map. Iron and steel plant map, you can do it on one map itself. Alright, so as it is a subject enrichment activity, you have to maintain copies of it and you have to hand it over to the teacher once the school reopens. There are marks for these maps, remember. You can refer to iron and steel plant map on the online PDF if you do not have a clear image in your textbook, the hard copy which you have at home. So you can definitely go and open the online PDF. You can go on it by typing ncert.nic.in and you can then open the PDF for 10th standard geography. Alright, so first image of iron and steel is on page number 70 and textile industry is on page number 67. You have to mark all the places which they have shown on the map in the PDF or in the hard copy which you have at home. Now, this slide contains some open-ended questions for the first part of the manufacturing industry. These are all 3-mark questions, so please do attempt it. They are asked in the exam. They are open-ended questions, so only for 3 marks they have been asked. All right, so you write down minimum 6 points and do provide an example, because without example geography answers are incomplete. And maintain a copy of all these answers, maintain a hard copy of all these answers, and hand it over to the teacher once the school reopens. Now we come to the end of the first part of manufacturing industries. You know the protocol. Read the chapter on a per day basis, 1 part per day. That is how you have to follow. And on the last slide, as I've mentioned before, there is a video. So please go through that video. It's just for your information and for your understanding.